These are 10 isekai anime where the main characters become so ridiculously overpowered that they break every rule in the book. We're talking about protagonists who don't just get strong, they become walking cheat codes that make everyone else look like tutorial NPCs. Isekai has completely dominated anime for the past decade, and there's a reason why. When publishers Kadokawa and Bungaku Free Market actually banned isekai stories from their contests in 2016 and 2017, you know the genre had reached peak saturation. But here's the thing, power fantasies sell, and nothing scratches that itch quite like watching someone go from zero to god tier in another world. So let's explore the absolute cream of the crop when it comes to overpowered isekai protagonists. These aren't your typical I trained really hard characters. These are the ones who make you question the very concept of game balance. Starting at number 10, we have a wild last boss appeared. If you've ever wondered what gender-bent overlord would look like, wonder no more. This 2025 release follows a guy who wakes up in the body of his overpowered female video game character, Lufus Mafal, in a world that's centuries ahead of his original timeline. Lufus is basically what happens when you take an endgame raid boss and make them the protagonist. She's backed by an army of equally ridiculous characters, and the power gap between her and literally everyone else is so massive it's almost comedic. Number 9 brings us I've Been Killing Slimes for 300 years and maxed out my level, featuring Azusa Aizawa. This one's fascinating because it completely flips the isekai formula. Instead of grinding for power, Azusa accidentally becomes the strongest being in her world by doing the most mundane thing possible, killing slimes for 3 centuries. She's immortal, she just wanted to live peacefully in the countryside, and whoops, turns out consistent low-level grinding for 300 years will max out your level. The fact that she achieves god tier status through what amounts to the fantasy equivalent of a part-time job is both hilarious and terrifying. Saga of Tanya the Evil takes the 8th spot with Tanya de Gurachaf. Before you think, oh, it's just a 13-year-old girl, remember that this 13-year-old girl is actually a ruthless salaryman reincarnated by a god he calls Being X. Tanya's power comes from her exceptional magical aptitude combined with her complete lack of moral compass. Oh, she climbs the military ranks not through friendship speeches or plot armor, but through pure strategic brilliance and magical dominance. Her elite force becomes feared worldwide, and her willingness to do absolutely anything for more power makes her genuinely terrifying. Number 7 goes to the sibling duo from No Game No Life, Sora and Shiro. These two are fascinating because they're completely useless in normal circumstances, but in a world where everything is decided by games, they're essentially gods. They defeated God himself in chess, which should tell you everything you need to know about their capabilities. In Disboard, where all conflict is resolved through games, they consistently outsmart beings that have lived for millennia. Their only weakness? They become helpless when separated from each other. Art, which is probably the only thing keeping them from being higher on this list. Cautious Hero brings us Seiya Ryuguin at number 6. Seiya is hilarious because his overpowered nature is matched by his absolutely ridiculous level of caution. He'll use his most powerful attack 3 times on an already dead enemy, just to be sure. He's unbelievably powerful but refuses to fight anything until he's prepared beyond all reason. The comedy comes from watching Goddess Rystart lose her mind trying to deal with someone who treats a level 1 slime like a potential world-ending threat. My instant death ability is so overpowered takes the 5th spot with Yogiri Takatu. The title says it all. This guy can literally kill anything with a single thought. When his class gets summoned to another world and the useless students are left for dead, Yogiri reveals that he came pre-equipped with the most broken ability possible. He spends the series casually eliminating isekai tropes before they can even establish themselves. It's power scaling taken to its absolute logical extreme. Number 4 is Rudeus Greyrat from Mushoku Tensei. What makes Rudeus special is his ridiculous magical talent combined with adult knowledge. He can cast spells instantly, while normal mages need 5 to 60 seconds. He's got a demon eye that lets him see into the future. He's immune to certain curses due to his reincarnated nature, and his Laplace factor gives him naturally enormous magical power. Plus, the guy mastered Voiceless Incantation, which is basically the fantasy equivalent of speedrunning every spell in existence. The bronze medal goes to Sid Kagano from The Eminence in Shadow. On, Sid's power is absurd. We're talking katanas, daggers, shadow magic, slime manipulation, and literal nuclear abilities. But here's the kicker, he thinks he's just playing make-believe. Under his alias Shadow, he founded Shadow Garden to fight the Cult of Diablos, not realizing the cult actually exists, and his organization has become a genuine global superpower. He's accidentally conquered the world while thinking it's all an elaborate game with very committed friends. Silver goes to Ain's Ual Gown from Overlord. The man learned 718 different spells when the maximum was supposed to be 300, using his Dark Wisdom ability to break the game's own rules. He commands the Great Tomb of Nazarick, possesses 11 world items out of only 200 that ever existed, and is literally worshipped as a god by NPCs, who could each solo most anime protagonists. Ainz doesn't just play the game, he rewrote the rulebook and became the final boss everyone else has to deal with. And taking the gold medal is Rimuru Tempest from That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. Rimuru is what happens when you give someone every cheat ability imaginable and then keep adding more. Ultimate skills like Raphael, Beelzebub, Veldora, and Uriel make them a walking disaster. In Season 2, Rimuru evolved into a true demon lord after consuming thousands of enemy souls in one go. The Great Sage ability alone makes them essentially impossible to defeat. It's like having a perfect AI advisor that can analyze any situation and provide instant solutions. What makes Rimuru the ultimate overpowered isekai protagonist is the sheer scope of their abilities. They can copy any skill they encounter, they're functionally immortal, they can manipulate reality on a fundamental level, and they command loyalty from beings who could reshape continents. Rimuru started as a 37-year-old contractor named Satoru and became something that transcends normal power scaling entirely. The isekai genre has given us some incredible power fantasies over the years. From accidental world conquest to strategic nuclear slime attacks, these protagonists represent the absolute peak of getting ridiculously overpowered in another world. Whether you're here for the comedy of Cautious Hero or the reality-bending madness of Rimuru's adventures. Plus, these 10 anime prove that sometimes the best stories come from characters who are just way too strong for their own worlds. The next time someone complains about overpowered protagonists, just remember, in a genre that started with the simple premise of, what if you got a second chance in another world, we've somehow reached the point where main characters can literally think people to death or accidentally become demon lords. And honestly, that's exactly what makes isekai so entertaining.